Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chet here from Avion Technology here in the Chicagoland area. Today's topic is about agencies, and within agencies, I'm going to talk about UI UX. So this week, I have been touching upon best practices within the UI UX space. What are best practices within the UI UX arena? So last video, I touched upon why small agencies or small businesses need to invest some time upfront in trying to create a good UI UX foundation for the businesses, right? Because that kind of has some level of recall and stickiness. And what happens is that when someone thinks about your business, they should kind of immediately so when someone sees your logo, right, they should immediately recall your business, right? And I gave the example of McDonald's with its golden arches, or Apple with its really simple uncluttered design. So the first thing is, if you're a small agency, get a good designer or work with a good vendor, but make sure you create make sure you craft an unforgettable UI UX experience. Same for a small business. If you're a small business, make sure that your website, your cards, your brochures, your apps, all of them reflect some kind of UI UX craftsmanship, because that's going to set the foundation for a lot of your marketing afterwards, right? Then today I'm going to talk about micro interactions. What are micro interactions? So micro interactions is a great UI UX strategy. What micro interactions does is it kind of creates let me go 2 steps back. I always give the analogy of a networking event, right? So if we are at an event and if you talk to someone, research has shown that small gestures actually increase the likelihood of your making that conversation into some kind of a long-term connection, right? What are those small gestures? Eye contact, number 1. Number 2, touching each other. So a lot of times, if you're at a networking event, you'll see that you kind of touch each other's forearm, or you kind of touch each other's shoulder. So these kind of small gestures actually increase the trustworthiness between two people, and that kind of sets the foundation for future collaboration, or that for a future connection, right? So similarly, when you have a website or an app, good UI UX practices and micro interactions set up a foundation for that customer, that user, that viewer to kind of keep coming back. So what are those? One is enhancing the UX, the user experience. How do you do that? Have things like loading animations, for example, right? We always like things that move. Just makes everything more exciting. And a lot of this actually is concerned with, I don't know how many of you know about neurology, neurochemistry, but we have these dopamine receptors in our brain. And when you look at a screen and something moves, the dopamine in your brain kind of gets stimulated. So loading animations are a great way for users to be engaged, because it releases dopamine, right? The same for hover over, right? We always like things that when you hover over, they kind of magnify or something happens, right? So when you use these strategically, right, it enhances the user experience. Right? It's much better than a very plain old boring site. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes a simple plain old boring site is amazing, especially in today's world when there's just so many things which are constantly distracting. But that being said, these are some of the UI UX things that you can think about. Second is guiding user actions, right? Progress bar and validation. So progress bar, I'm a big fan of progress bar. When you're using a website and you click on something and the page doesn't load, you don't know what's going on. right? You don't know if the website is stuck, whether it's your internet connection, whether it's your browser, whether it's your laptop, whether it's the server. You don't know what it is. But when you see the progress bar, it feels good. You know what's happening. So again, it goes back to this whole thing of, we human beings, we like to be in control, right? We like to know what's happening. So the more, you can keep the user in control of their experience, the better the interaction, the better the journey. Same with form validation, right? User fills it up, presses submit, form doesn't go anywhere. User's like, what's happening? Does it again, presses submit, form doesn't go anywhere. User clicks out. Instead of, you have validation on forms, and most of the sites do, but I've still seen a lot of designers sometimes not put in the proper validation. So third is mobile experience. Swipe animations, they work amazingly well, right? Because again, the swipe animations is so related to our dopamine system. Every time you swipe, right, you get a rush of dopamine. So the swiping thing, and Tinder and Bumble and all these sites have really exploited this. If you have good images, and if you give people the ability to swipe, they will keep on doing it for hours, because that's the way their brain works. And the last is usability. Usability is like a topic in itself, right? And it's a topic for like much further conversation. But the one thing that I will tell you about usability is go for, see what are the basic usability best practices. Right? One of them I've mentioned here is having a tooltip. The other one is, for example, having good, clear calls to action. Right? If you want the user to do something, then spell it out. Let them know. Click here to know more. Right? Contact us for. Have very clear calls to action. So these are a couple of things. Again, I think micro interactions are huge, and it's all micro interactions have always been a design trend, but I think it will continue to grow, simply because that's a way to keep users engaged. Now, keeping users engaged is like a completely different topic again in 2024, just because of proliferation of devices and all these things that distract us. But the problem with this is that if you don't do it, you will get, everyone else is doing it, and you will lose out, right? So Chet here from Avion Technology. I hope you've liked the content. Press like if you do, hit subscribe if you want to subscribe. And Chet here from Avion Technology. These are my coordinates. If there's something you need assistance with, do not hesitate, give us a shout. Thanks again. Bye.